Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Aliz, the creator of Aliz's Wonderland, and if you haven't noticed before, I'm kind of obsessed with travel planning. So before every trip, I make research about the city and the country. And if you are a travel planner type like me, stay with me because today I will show you my step-by-step travel itinerary planning process, what I usually make with Google My Maps. Google My Maps is a free tool of Google Maps and it has many advantages. It's easy to use, it's super easy to visualize all the places you want to visit, but I won't tell you everything about it. Stay with me and watch the video.
Let's create our first Google My Maps. As you can see, I'm already signed in to my Google account, so I will just have to Google My Maps, or you can follow the link in my blog post. And this part for you will be empty if this will be your first Google My Map. So just click on create a new map. It will show your current location and it almost looks like Google Maps, just it has a different search bar and this panel at the left is different. Here you can name your map. You can rename this anytime you want and you can even add the description. Let's save it. And this is the base map. You can also change this anytime. You can change to satellite, to terrain, but let's stay with the basic map first. Our 2020 Peru trip was cancelled by coronavirus, so now I will plan our future Peru trip. Now we will add our first place to the map. Let's type to the search bar Machu Picchu, and it will jump straight to that location. If you want to double check, you can click on View in Google Maps. And looks like it's correct. So we can add this pin to our map. At the paint bucket, you can personalize your icon with color and icon. We'll get back to this later. At the pencil, you can rename it and even add description. And you can also add photo by uploading it from your computer, from your drive, and you can even make a Google image search. Okay, looks like we are added our first pin to the map. The next steps can also happen parallelly, which will be personalizing the places and creating new layers and separating them by topics. For example, I will name this to Cusco area. This can be renamed anytime later. And for example, if I'm planning to visit a whole country, I prefer to separate the layers by districts, like Cusco area. I think I also create a layer for Lima district and maybe for the seaside, and I will see later what else. But if you're planning to visit only a city, it's easier to separate your layers by topics, like natural sites, historical places, contemporary architecture, restaurants. Everything depends on your interest. And now comes my favorite part, the research. When I want to have an overall view about a country or city, usually I start with a guidebook or I go to Pinterest. As you can see on my Pinterest, I separate my travel topics by continents and countries. So I'll go to my Peru board, and in the meantime I already opened some blog posts, some Peru itineraries. So I'll check out which parts were visited by my favorite travel bloggers. I quickly went through those articles, so now I will add some new layers by clicking here, Add Layer. So this will be called Lima area. And I also make one for the coast. And I will start to add my points. I was checking the city of Mancora. Yeah. And your new points will be automatically added to the selected layer. So in my case it's the coast, and it's totally okay. But if you add it to another one, you can just drag and drop. But for me it was good here. I will add more points and I'll come back to you and will tell you how to personalize these icons. In the meantime, I added some places to my coast and Lima area layers. The places of Huaraz stayed in the Lima area layer because Google My Maps doesn't allow you to create more than 10 layers. And I already started to personalize my icons. I like to add suggestion for accommodation or my real accommodation. I also separate the food and drink related places by this orange color. For natural sites, I use this green sign, and for lakes, beaches, pools, I prefer this blue. And I also personalize these icons with a hiker because these sites require hiking to reach them. And now I will show you how I personalize my icons. This is a bus station, so I'll use my yellow color and we'll search for a bus sign. There are many icons here, and you can also use the filter to search for something. Transport a bus. Okay, so this way I will know that this is the bus station. This was a recommended hostel, so I use the same yellow and house sign, and I read that this is a spot to see the sunset. So I already added here a description, and I'm kind of obsessed with sunsets, so I also add here sunset. This will stay blue because it's related to the sea. These Shanshan ruins are archaeological site, so it will stay this pinkish, just like the following two. Surfer Burger is a restaurant, so I'll use this orange and the restaurant sign, and Menuland is the same. After creating many maps, I started to simplify my system and define my own colors. Of course, you don't have to use my colors, just find something what will be obvious for you. It happens that Google Maps cannot find the place you're looking for, but if you know its whereabouts, you can edit manually easily. For example, I found this very cool mural, which is just next to the bridge. So I will click here, add the marker, just add the marker on the map. We'll call it mural, and it's added. In Google My Maps, you can also create driving, cycling, and walking routes. So I will create a walking route where I found on the website of Practical Wonderland. If you click here, add direction, it will create a separate layer for that. And here you can select walking mode. The first stop was Parque Grau. The first line is already done, and as next steps I will add the other points and we'll get back to you with the final route. A route like this can have maximum 10 stops, so I can still add one more. And let's add this Kennedy Park. But this shouldn't be the last one, so I will just drag and drop it to be the third point. Yeah, looks good. Or maybe the fourth. Yes, even better. And after this I can still adjust this line a bit more. For example, I added this mural here, and when you see this small circle on the line, you can just drag it and place it on the place you want to see, and it kind of looks okay. So I'll just leave it like this. After creating a route, you can also check its duration and length if you click here at step-by-step directions, and Google My Maps calculates you the distances and the approximate time. So this way you will know how much time will you need to complete this route. And now we will make a driving route, but for that we'll go to Cusco. Now I will make a driving route here in Cusco. I found a very cool trip here in the Sacred Valley, so I will add these points to my map. Now, let's just rename this. And the good thing about layers is that you can just turn them off and on if you are disturbed by these lines. And now let's rearrange our layers, because in the meantime I created many places around Peru. Okay, so let's arrange them from north to south. When you have so many places like me, it's easier to turn them off, and then you can rearrange them. If you click on the name and just drag it, you can place to its final position. And I'd like to place the Cusco trip somewhere around Cusco so they can be close to each other. And now all of my layers are rearranged, so I can start planning my itinerary. Your itinerary will be affected by many things. If you're visiting only a city and its surroundings, it's easier, but if you're visiting a whole country like Peru, you have to consider many things. For example, are you coming from Ecuador or Bolivia by bus? Or are you flying from Brazil by plane? And how much time do you need? Do you have only a week or you have many weeks? And how will you get around? You rent a car, or are you going to use night buses, day buses, train, airplane? And what are your favorite activities? Do you prefer to surf or sunbath? Or do you prefer sightseeing, hiking, or crazy activities, or all of them? And mostly it will be affected by your budget. You will have to research the free and pay activities as well. Okay, so let's say that I'm flying from Brazil to Lima and I have 3 weeks in Peru. Okay, so I'm flying to Lima and will spend there 1-2 days. And after that, by a night bus, I will go to Ica, discover the oasis, and have a trip in Paracas. Then from there, I'll travel by bus here to discover Milpu. And from there, by bus, of course, I will travel to Cusco. And I think I will have to spend there around a week because it lays at high altitude, so I have to acclimatize. And I'll spend, I guess, 1 day discovering the center, just chilling. Then I can make this day tour. And the next day Machu Picchu, then back to Cusco, then the Rainbow Mountain. And there's also this beautiful lagoon here. And now I have to decide, counting the days, that do I want to visit this lake or I rather go to Huaraz. And if I have only 3 weeks, I think I will also skip Arequipa and Puno because I've already seen Lake Titicaca. And after that, I think I will fly back to Lima, and from there with a night bus I could go to Huaraz, spend there 3-4 days to discover the lagoons and the national parks. And if I'm already there, I could take a bus here to discover the ruins and hang a bit on the beach. And looks like there's an airport here, so I could fly back to Lima and from there back to Brazil. In a case like this, we can move the rest of the places to a new layer called later layer, turn it off, because we cannot have more than 10 layers, or we can create a copy of this map and we can delete the places we won't be able to visit now and rearrange the layers according to the itinerary. And don't worry, you will still have all of your saved places on the previous map. creating a draft itinerary, you can check out the flights, bus tickets, accommodations. For example, if we zoom in to Lima, we can see that our interests are here and here. So it would be nice to book an accommodation somewhere here or on the line on the metro. That way, the transportation wouldn't take much time to get from one point to the other point. I read about a very cool cycling trip here in Paracas. So instead of creating a cycling route, I will just draw a line because we can only have 10 layers and I want to save the layers. So I will just draw the line and you just have to click, click, click. And when you want to finish the line, you just have to double click. So instead of having a layer, now I just have a place. It's possible to share this map with your traveler partners. If you click here on share, you can make a drive sharing. You just have to enter your traveler buddy's name, email address, and you can give access to view or edit. I will leave it as edit, so my boyfriend can also add some points if he wants. You can even write a message and then just press send and he will get the link so he can access the map.
So now you know how I plan all of my trips, and you can also access your maps on your phone. In Google Maps, if you click on your saved items and then maps, all of your shared and created maps will appear there, so you can see all of your pins in your Google Maps. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, just ask in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Thank you! Travel progress. Travel itinerary, travel blog.